Okay, it is Tuesday the 26th of October. We finally had the arrival of our sawmill, as you can see here. It came, looks to be in good order. All the parts, the extra parts and stuff I ordered came with it. So I've got the extension. This is what the track extension looks like. I just took off the little parts kit, the extra replacement parts, the extra belts and stuff, just in case. I've also got the 2 packages of belts, or sorry, saw blades, pack of 5 each. Not exactly sure what I'm going to be doing, whether I'm going to have to eventually order a sharpener and a tooth setter, but that's an extra close to $1,000 to get those 2 things together. But yeah, so I'm just going to get this, at least the top things unpacked, and try to get this pulled. When they delivered it, I want to pull it back a little bit further so I can actually get my vehicle in. But yeah, I'm going to try to get this unpacked, and obviously because it's during the week, I don't have a lot of time, only in the evenings, so I'm going to try to get this put together probably between now and the end of Saturday. So I don't know whether I'll get any milling done this week, but that's my project for this week, and I will pick up this video a little later when I get some of the parts out to the mill or out to the property and we can start putting it together. And so just wanted to show you what it looks like when it arrives. It's on a nice solid pallet, everything's strapped well. Welcome back to the Tennessee Frugal Craftsman. I'm in here underneath of my covering. I'm getting ready to do some putting together of the sawmill head. I have completed pretty much everything now on the base, so I'm going to show you what I did. I've put it all together, so let's pull around here. And you can actually see pretty well got everything in. And I'm just going to take a couple minutes to describe what I've done here. It's raining here, and I'm going to step back and just kind of show you. I've got a tarp over me, but I'll show you what I did. It's fairly straightforward. Most of the videos online capture this whole process, so I'm not going to reinvent the wheel, but I am going to show you what this looks like, maybe some of the details that will help you if you're doing one yourself. And so I'll zero in here. For example, on the base pads, what I have done, you can kind of see in here, I've actually screwed everything down with 2.5-inch screws, so this thing is not going to move anywhere. I also set my pads pretty much at the lowest level here, so I could actually do adjustment up if I need to, but it also is going to keep my sawmill low to the ground. A couple things that often get overlooked that I think need to be discussed, and that is the issue with these bolts here. I know some people miss these, but these are actually your bolts that you have to screw in and out to actually level, or I should say square, your upright with the bunk. And so very important to take note of those extra bolts. Some people think they're just extra bolts, but that's what they're actually for. And these nuts actually tighten it in when you get the upright set. It's best to do it with the longer of the 2 pieces, because that is going to give you the better square. And so right now I've got everything together. That was one of the things I wanted to note. One of the other things is make sure that you tighten these down. So this thing is, once you get everything level, you can actually tighten it down so it won't move around. Now, if you look down across this, what I did is I started at the far end and I started leveling across this way, and then I just each one individually leveled across and checked them for the length for straightness down across the bunks. And if you kind of go down and you look down across the bunks, it's nice and straight. And I also used a line, just ran a line along the edge of this. I put a line on one end, strung it to the other end, and then just used a feeler gauge. So I put the line from one end right along this rail, clear down to the other end, and that's how I set this rail straight that way. And once you get that done, then you can do your leveling of your bed. Now, the leveling was the very last thing that I did after I put everything together, bolted it down tight, got all the measurements 26 inches exactly between outside of the rails. Once you get that done, then you're good to go. So my next procedure is going to be to get the sawmill head off the back of my truck, and it's on the pallet, and I'm going to bring it over, back my truck over here, and I'm going to slide it right on the pallet across these logs, right down onto my bed here, and I'm going to assemble it here on the bed because I am by myself, and I'll let you know how that goes. Until then, I will see you later. Welcome back from the Tennessee Frugal Craftsman. I just wanted to give you an update on the sawmill and what I've got done here. Cut my first log yesterday, and I just wanted to bring you up to date on what my first impressions are, and also kind of some of the issues surrounding setting up the head itself, the sawmill head. So I'm going to swing around here and let you have a look at what we've done. Now, you've seen the rail before. We talked about that earlier in this video. This is now the sawmill head all up and running, and I'm just going to zero in here a bit and just talk about a few things. One of the things you need to keep in mind is that when the sawmill first comes, you don't run any liquid in it for the first 30 minutes to let the belts down here on the drive wheels actually set or seat themselves. Everything else fairly straightforward. I filled it up with oil, filled it up with gas, first crank or two, it started and the way it's went. It's worked perfectly fine. Probably one of the more difficult things in putting the whole thing together was actually the throttle cable over here, trying to get that on. That took a little bit of kind of sorting out how it actually sets up, but my first impression of the mill is actually very good. You can see here yesterday I cut one log, got 14 boards out of it. These are oak, red oak, and there's the offcuts over there. I'm going to start chopping those up and burning any of the offcuts. A lot of that's got a lot of rot on it and whatnot, because this was the tree that was down over the side hill here that was blown down in a windstorm a few years ago. But there was still a lot of really good heartwood in it, and so I'm here today. I'm going to clean this up, and I'm going to spray it with a borax and water solution with a spray gun I got here, a pump spray gun, sorry. And just kind of see what I can do with it. Hopefully it'll work. It's going to take probably about a year for this stuff to dry out by the time I get ready to build the house. Hopefully I can get this stuff planed out and get some wood for some of my trim, or whatever, closet shelves or whatever. Now over here, like I said, I pulled the one off of, you can see there I got 4 more logs here that I'm going to run through. It took me about 45 minutes to run through a log that was, I would say, about probably 14-15 inches on the top. And out of that 8-foot log, 8.5-foot log, I got 14 pieces. I worked out about 56 board feet. Now, like I said, obviously not all of this is going to be usable. There's some of this wood here actually has some rot in it, because you can see here, there's some rot in this, and there's some cracks over in this stuff here. But for the most part, I didn't see anything really wrong with a lot of the boards. Remember, this is stuff I've just kind of grabbed based upon what normally would be either burned or thrown away. And so I'm going to try to get as much usable wood out of it. Once it dries, I'm out here today. I'm going to paint the ends of these boards and get them stacked and get them under cover, because it was quite late when I finished last night. It was dark. But overall, like I said, my first impression is very good. It's going to take a little bit of getting used to. The only thing that I don't like, and I can see kind of early on that this may create a problem, and that is these log dogs down here. I'm not exactly sure why Woodland Mills has not come up with a better solution than this, but what I found is that when you're cranking these down and you're putting it into a small board, like an inch thick board, if you're not careful and if this is sticking up just a bit, this is going to catch on the saw blade. And you need, based upon the way this is shaped, I don't know whether you can see this comes to a point, and in that point, my camera's not zeroing in here, but because that's on a point and this is about a 1/2 inch thick, you can imagine you got to be up on your board, up on your piece, at least 3/8 of an inch. Well, this is sticking up another 1/8 of an inch, and this is sticking up 1/4 of an inch, so you do the math. The saw blade, one of the very first things that happened when I was doing down low is, and I was watching it closely, but my saw blade just started to tick this, and I backed off. And luckily I didn't break up any teeth or anything, but I caught it quick enough. But it was very easily something that could ruin a saw blade very quickly. And like I said, this here should have a flat surface, something that will actually, or some type of an adapter that you can push against the bottom of a board. Because if not, you have nothing to really hold your smaller or thinner boards at 1 inch in place. Now, like I said, as far as the overall performance of the saw, I have absolutely no problems. I've had no problems. I've only run it for about, what is it? Let me see what my timer is here. Because it has an ongoing timer. You can see there. Let me just zero in here. I've done it 0.9, not quite an hour of running. And so it took me probably 45 plus minutes to mill out one log at 56 board feet of lumber. That's 14 pieces. Most of those are 6 inches wide, 1 inch thick. And so, yeah, moving forward, like I said, I'll try to get one of the videos here with me running it. And so you can kind of see what it looks like. There's a lot of these on YouTube already, so don't really, like I said, need to reinvent the wheel or anything like that. But when I'm doing something special, I'll try to keep you up to date on kind of what I found is working well. Like I said, I've got a tarp over it, over my work here, so this keeps my mill dry, and I cover it up at night with plastic here and cover everything over so the track doesn't get wet. And I'm going to try as much as possible because I would like to resell this or sell this mill when I'm done with it, when I'm done cutting for my house. And so hopefully the next owner, when they get it, it'll be in as decent a shape as when I got it. Took the box of that the mill came in, you can see here, and I got it. I'm going to set it up and put some plywood and stuff here on the top, so I'm going to use it for my little work stand, especially after those two trees come down eventually, and we get this big pile of logs sawed up. It's probably going to take me the best part of a month or more to catch up, because I'm only working, late afternoon and a couple days and Saturdays. And so, yeah, that's my next thing to do today is I've got some paint. I'm going to paint all the ends of my logs. I thought I was going to do just the ends of the boards as I needed it, but I think it'll be to my advantage to actually do it beforehand. And the reason I think it'll be easier is because I've noticed that when I'm laying out my logs, I've been using a tape measure and whatnot and just kind of measuring down. I haven't quite got used to the scale up here, but I like to be pretty precise as a finish carpenter. So when I'm measuring and marking my boards, kind of marking down on the wood cant, it's hard to see on those dark-ended logs. But if I paint them white, my pencil should show up. So that's one of the reasons I think I'm going to go ahead and paint the ends of the logs now. Whether I continue doing that, we'll see, or whether I'll wait and have my kids do it when I get the boards all painted or all sawed out, remains to be seen. one other thing I'm going to do today, like I said, is just get these set up, brushed off, and I'm going to spray these boards with borax and water solution. The solution runs about, I looked up online, the borax solution that I'm using is, it said 10 ounces of powdered borax. I use, I think it's called 20 Mule Team borax. I put about 10 ounces in about 6 ounces of water and dissolved it, and then I put it into more water. That's supposed to do a gallon, so I doubled it, and then I had to heat it up on the stove a bit just to get it all dissolved, and then I filtered it and put it in my sprayer. So I'm going to see how that works. It's supposed to keep bugs away. Obviously it's not a permanent solution. Eventually, you know, when everything's dried out and planed, it'll be inside, hopefully away from the bugs. So anyway, that's enough for me today. I guess I've talked a lot, and as far as the solution that I'm using in the machine, it's pretty straightforward. It's just water, and I put a couple teaspoons of Dawn dish detergent. I got some Dawn dish detergent over here, and so that's what I'm going to use for my lubrication. Of course, in the wintertime, you have to switch to windshield washer fluid. Here in Tennessee, hopefully that won't be too much, because we don't get a lot of really super cold weather. Anyway, until next time, I will update you, as I said, on some of the stuff that I'm doing. Maybe a little later today, I'll show you when I'm done getting my logs prepped, and I will pick this video up more. See you in a bit. Okay, it's a little bit later in the day. I've been working for about an hour and a half. What I did is I took all of my oak boards that were over there by the saw. They were on a pallet. I just did that quickly last night. I was just trying out the mill. And what I did is I sprayed them all with the borax solution. And just give me a second here, I'll show you. You can kind of see them here. I painted all of the ends of them white to seal the ends, and you can see how things are really wet here because they've all got borax on them. And so the plan is to take all of my oak. I've got another 4 logs to cut out, so by the time I'm done, that'll probably be about 4 feet tall, that pile of oak boards. Obviously it's not all number 1, but what I can get out of it, hey, it's free, just my time and labor put into it. And so a little bit of paint. I'll plane the boards later in about a year when they're dry. They're supposed to dry at about 1 inch per year. Hopefully I'll get them inside someplace where we can dry them. I also took a little bit of my white paint and did a little bit of painting ahead here. I'm going to get my daughter to do the rest of these logs, have her come out and brush the ends off with the wire brush and paint the ends of the logs. I think that's going to be a lot easier. I've got most of these ones done over here ready to go. So these ones next week, hopefully, Lord willing, I'll be able to start working on those and get this bunch of logs through. I don't know how long it's going to take. I'm thinking if it's going to take about an hour per log, there's almost a full day easily of milling right here on of these logs that I have already on ready to go on the mill. So hopefully tomorrow night I should be able to jump right on this and start milling, and we'll see what we can get done in a couple hours. Like I said, if we can get a couple logs done, that'll kind of tell me what I can get done and get through. Some of those smaller logs over here in the back won't take that long, but I just wanted to bring you up to speed of what I've been doing. Appreciate your comments. If there's something you see, you have a question, go ahead and put them in the comments section below, and I will try to respond to them. If not, just hit like and subscribe. As we go on this journey together. And until next time, from the Frugal Craftsman from Tennessee, or the Tennessee Frugal Craftsman, however you want to look at it, I pray that you have a good day, and we will see you on the next video.